Hey, Gym Stars, it's your girl, Gym Me, back with another one. Listen, going through a spiritual awakening is one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I'm sure it's one of the hardest things you have ever done or will do. All right, one of them, not the only one, but one of them. All right, but before we get into this topic, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, or comment. All right, so we can get this page popping. And I'm going to share some more videos about this, but we're going to talk about it because I know there's a lot of people going through this spiritual awakening that have no clue what's happening. And I'm going to tell you from my experience. Now, I'm not going to give you no theoretical, analytical type speech. We're going to keep it real on this here side. Because a spiritual awakening is real. And it's something that you can't explain really unless you go through the process. And some of you don't know what to look for, and I'm going to tell you. All right? So when you're going through a spiritual awakening, the first thing you might experience, or will experience, what I experienced, right? I'm going to tell you from my experience. What I experienced is the first thing I was taught about money. I know. I don't. Hey, Gym Stars, it's your girl, Gym Me, back with another one. Listen, going through a spiritual awakening is one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I'm sure it's one of the hardest things you have ever done or will do. All right, one of them, not the only one, but one of them. All right, but before we get into this topic, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, or comment. All right, so we can get this page popping. And I'm going to share some more videos about this, but we're going to talk about it because I know there's a lot of people going through this spiritual awakening that have no clue what's happening. And I'm going to tell you from my experience. Now, I'm not going to give you no theoretical, analytical type speech. We're going to keep it real on this here side. Because a spiritual awakening is real. And it's something that you can't explain really unless you go through the process. And some of you don't know what to look for, and I'm going to tell you. All right? So when you're going through a spiritual awakening, the first thing you might experience, or will experience, what I experienced, right? I'm going to tell you from my experience. What I experienced is the first thing I was taught about money. I know. Out of all things was money. I had a dream. I can't make this up. I had a dream about money. And the divine told me in this dream, I remember it clear as day, said, hey, tomorrow I want you to go to the bank and get $100. Yeah, $100. Yeah, you heard me. I'll say it again, $100. And I want you to take the piece of paper and $100 bill and I want you to burn it. Now, I ain't even gonna hold you. Did I get $100? No, I did get 40. I went halfway, but I got it. Okay? Don't judge me because I'm still learning. I'm still a work in progress. Okay? So yes, I took the $40. I did. And I burned the $40 in a piece of paper. Like I put them next to each other and I was outside, of course. And I put them down and I burnt them. That was my first, because when I was younger, right, we didn't have a lot of money, right? We lived in the hood, and I the more I look back, the more I learned, like, there were people that felt like, oh, I'm not in the hood because I live here. If you lived in the projects, you was in the hood, period, point blank. Anyway, so I was from the hood, right? And so I always told myself, when I get older, man, when I make my own money, I'm gonna be what? You ain't gonna be able to tell me nothing. Right. First of all, wrong mentality. But when you're in a low vibrational state and you're not awakened, you don't understand. So the lesson for me was what I got from the lesson. And the divine didn't say, this is the lesson you're gonna learn. That's the purpose of spiritual awakening. You're gonna see it for yourself. You're no longer gonna see things for what you want them to be. You're gonna see them for what they really are. And that was the purpose of this particular lesson. And what I saw was 2 piles of ashes. Ta-da! Yeah, it's just as simple as that. 2 piles of ashes. Basically, the universe, the divine was showing me money is a piece of paper. Yeah, it's a piece of paper. It's made at the Treasury Department up there. You dig? Like, they make money. And they determine who gets it. Now, did I know all that at that moment? No. But I'm just saying, I know about the Treasury Department. I'm saying that I know that I would see it that way. No. I didn't get it. Because, when you grew up with the lack, which is you need to break that generational curse. Because you'll hoard and you will think that that's all that matters. And then you'll end up losing it. So the divine was telling me, listen, you putting too much emphasis on money. Now, don't get it twisted. The money is a source from the divine. Do I love money? Yes. Because if I love the divine and the divine loves me, the divine's going to provide me with what I need. And money is a source of that. Just like food, just like anything else is a source. So yes, do I hate money? I don't walk around saying money is the root of all evil, because I know that the energy you put on money makes it the root of all evil. I don't worship money. I serve the divine who is the source of money, but I don't worship the money. But when I was younger, I worshiped the money. I didn't know any better. I didn't get it. And now I get it. It's just literally a piece of paper. However, it's how you use it and the emphasis and the energy you put on the money that shows you the outcome, right? So for example, the Diddy situation, prime example, you get money, which is okay, right? But you go out here, you manipulate, you abuse. Now the energy you put out, you get back. And we're sitting here talking, not we, but people are sitting here talking about, well, he didn't deserve that. No, but you got to think about it. The energy you put out is what you get back. It doesn't matter what you feel he deserves or not. It's just that simple. Some people say karma. I say the energy you put out, you get back. It's the same thing. So now I get that money is not the root of all evil. It's the energy you put into it. That was my lesson, right? The food I was eating, like, you're supposed to start with the food from the earth. You know, there's people, I have a friend, a coworker, who said they don't even like vegetables. How could you not like vegetables? Vegetables is from the earth. It puts the healthy nutrients in your body. Now, was I a little judgmental? Of course. I mean, I'm not perfect, but still, the point was, like, how could you not eat vegetables? I would eat a salad, they'd be like, ugh, like, you really ilking a salad, but you over there eating smothered fried carcass, which is another topic for another day, right? Okay. And they would look at me like I was weird because I didn't want to eat this or that. I wanted to eat this or that. So you get my gist. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Get it? I'm not going to beat a dead horse. You get the gist. Another thing is alcohol. Let me tell you something. When I was younger, alcohol was another thing that I could not, because I knew that it would hide emotion. It would cover the pain that I went through as a kid, right? It's weird. Like, when you're traumatized and you went through a lot in your life, you have these coping mechanisms that you really don't understand until you overstand or understand. And so alcohol was one of those things that was a coping mechanism for me. And I would drink it and it would make me into this different person. But now I realize, yes, it was taking over my spirit, but exposing all the things I needed to work on. Because it would come out. And not most people, but some people, I'm going to say for me, that was my way of hiding all of that. Or like, covering it up was to ingest spirits. Alcohol is a spirit also. And to cover those up. But alcohol no longer, I just was like, I don't want it. My body wouldn't tolerate it. It was like weird. It was like, okay, the universe is telling you to walk away. You're not listening. Because alcohol is not your friend. Got it. Took me a little while to get it, but I got it. Okay? The people you surround yourself with. It's going to be family, friends. Not a bad thing. If you're not in the same frequency, you're not in the same frequency. And the divine, aka the universe, is going to remove those people. You might get into an argument. They might just stop hanging with you. They might find another friend because you might start to change. Like when y'all would go out together maybe, or they would like to go out and you may not want to go out. They're like, well, she corny. I don't know what's wrong with her. She changing. I don't know what's happening. And they might find somebody else. Males too. It's a hard thing to go through because you end up in solitude. And sometimes you end up with just you. Just you and the divine, which is really all you need, honestly. Because that's the time for you to purge and to release and to get to know the truth, right? Not what you want to be the truth, but the truth. You're going to really see people for who they are and things for what they are, not what you want them to be. When you idolize people or worship them and then you put too much emphasis on, I've never seen so many people worship celebrities the way they do. I've never worshipped a celebrity. I may have say, oh, I like that person. I like the way they do this or that. But worship them? where you are, and it's sad because you are a celestial being. That's all a celebrity is. You're one and the same. The only difference is they receive a certain amount of money to perform for you in this matrix. And to be truthfully honest, some of them have sold their soul to do it. Yeah, it's a difference between your spirit and your soul. When you sell your soul, it's a whole nother dynamic. A whole nother dynamic. You have literally sold for a price, for a piece of paper, is what you've done. And people will get further and further and further in debt in this matrix just to say they have some things. To the point where it make them sick. To the point where it would make them like stressed and worry. And I had to learn that. Like, now don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I'm not just going to give it because the energy I put into that is mine. And I know the divine is giving me the source to do what I need to do to serve my purpose. So when if some person asks me and I say no, doesn't mean I'm holding on to it, which just means I know the purpose of what I need it for. And I'm going to use it just for that purpose. So, and then celebrities, back to them, they'll just unalive themselves. They'll do so many things for this piece of paper. That's what it is, a piece of paper. So spiritual awakenings will teach you so much about you, so much about other people. You're not going to want to watch certain shows anymore. That's another thing. TV, I barely watch TV. I don't watch the news. I don't, unfortunately, when we like on YouTube or something like that, you're going to see things because there's going to be an algorithm. You can't control that, but I don't even entertain it. I may make a joke about some things here and there, but for the most part, I don't even entertain it. I don't even occupy my time because I know that it's all a distraction. And if you know, then you know, and it's time to wake up. And again, a spiritual awakening is going to happen. And it's probably happened to a lot of you on multiple occasions and you either ignored the signs or you either just didn't want to see it. But when you're ready, you'll see it. And if you have not done it by now, then sorry. If you're a part of the 144,000, then you know. And I always tell people, my hierarchy here on this matrix or this earth, I'm one with the divine. So my hierarchy here is, I probably have no rank in here, and I'm okay with that. But in the spiritual realm, oh, you best believe it. You best believe it. I know it. I know I do. I know I'm a chosen one. I am a celestial. I know it. When you know, you just know. And people like, oh, see, that's another thing you're going to experience. Oh, she crazy. There she go with that spiritual stuff again. But they can spew the religious stuff to you all day and you're not crazy. Not that I have anything against religious people. I'd rather you believe in something than nothing. But the contradiction of it all, like if you spiritual, you like, I don't hate the divine because technically God is the divine. We just saying it in two different ways. That's all. And I don't need to go into a building because my temple is here. But that's a whole nother topic for another day, So you're going to get a lot. And unfortunately, you're going to experience people leaving. You're not going to even like your job. Like it's going to be it's so many different things. And another thing is to be quiet, right? What you have going on with the divine is between you and the divine. I had to learn that because I ain't going to even hold you. I used to run the Facebook for everything. I ain't going to like a couple of years ago. I used to run the Facebook. I'm sharing all because I'm great. Till I realized, you got to be vague. Somebody asks you a question about your life, make it almost seem like a lie. You don't have to disclose anything because it's between you and the divine. You know how much you got in your bank account. Right? I've never been a materialistic person anyway. And it has nothing to do with the fact that I never had it. But I just felt like if I had the money, it would change my whole existence. Not even knowing the change was me. It was all me to begin with. It had nothing to do with the money. I didn't get that then. But yeah, and I used to think that. And even now I'm like, I've never been into like the Prada, the Gucci, and all the other stuff. I never was into that. Not because I can't afford it, because I can, but and I hate to even say that, but it's not a big deal to me because it's like I'm trying to prove something. I will shop at Shein, you did, or Walmart, quick, huh? And dare somebody to say something. Because if I wanted to live in the matrix terms of what I should look like and what I should own and what I should have, then I'm lost. I'm already lost. So the end of the day is you have to know that yes, you're going through a spiritual awakening, and it won't be pleasant. It won't. You're gonna experience being up all night. You're not gonna be able to sleep sometimes because you're gonna constantly hear things. It sounds crazy, I know, but it's gonna be the divine talking. You're gonna start to see things like, what is happening? Did I just see that? Yeah. You're going to look at a person and you're not going to see the person as a physical shell. You're going to see their energy. You can see demons. I'm just saying. I can look at a person and I'm like, yeah, man, something ain't right. You can you feel uneasy. Yeah, it's going to all be there. And be careful because again, you have monitoring spirits that are monitoring you. But once you're going to gain discernment. Right? That intuition is going to be popping. And somebody going to ask you a question. You already going to know they just being nosy. And you're going to know when somebody that you know was talking to that person. But you have to hold it. The universe is saying, I got you. I don't want you to have to fight let them try to pry. Let them pretend like let them. You got to let them be. Just long as you know inside what's really going on, let them. Because see, if you explain it, they're not going to get it anyway. They're not going to get it anyway. Let them. I tell you, sometimes I'll answer a question. It's almost like I'm lying. I just gave my secret away. It's like, she don't really know what she's talking about. She don't even know. She don't even sound certain. Because what I got going on between me and the divine, just know that if I wanted to measure my standards by the matrix standards, I'm not hurting for anything. Nothing. Not nothing. That I promise you. But my job isn't to live that way. My job is to serve my purpose and stay in alignment with what the universe, the divine, has called me to do. And everything else is going to pan out the way it's supposed to. So remember, a spiritual awakening is hard. And like I said, if you want to talk, I'm here. Hit me up. We can have a conversation. And we're going to have some more videos. So look forward to future videos about this because I know there's some people that they're going through their spiritual awakening right now. They have no clue what's happening. You understand? You're gonna go through some things. You're not gonna wanna, and be quiet. Be quiet. Of course you can share because the divine wants you to show people what's possible. There's a difference between being and bragging. Okay? Remember